All right, so last night we got to see Weapons at an advanced screening, and most of you haven't even gotten to see it yet. So I feel pretty cool right now. What I thought was actually cool was when I looked up the show times for tomorrow. They have the first showings for like most theaters is at 2:17. Now it's not AM, but that's okay. But the fact that they have it at 2:17 is pretty cool,
It's
especially
super
since most theaters don't air these things before 7 p.m. on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So the fact they're able to even get it at 2:17.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Let's discuss all the spoilers that we can think of with no notes and no preparation. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so you had talked about how you really loved the opening shot, so I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, well, I just like the opening in general. Like, I like that it's a black screen and you have this little girl that's, like, talking about this, you know, the spooky setup for everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, when she says I think it's Mayberry or Maybrook or something, the elementary school, and it just kind of, like, pushes, like, the camera pushes in. Like zooming in on the school, and we just kind of immediately start off on the story. I just thought that was so neat, and it really feels like you are being brought along for the tale.
Sure.
And this, you know, since we are talking spoilers, I mean, what is this if not like a dark fairy tale, a modern dark fairy tale, you know?
Sure, I mean, now that we can actually talk about it, as you said, like most people, like everybody, we didn't know what kind of movie this was going to be. And I even saw someone in the comments saying, you know, this looks like it's going to be a demonic possession film.
Right, because you get that, like, shot in the trailer of the kid.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah.
No, you're fine.
It looks like it would be, like, demons.
Sure. Now, what is a witch using to possess or take control of people? I don't know if you consider that demonic possession. Because their bodies are out of their control and they're being used for evil, and the spirits or whatever she's calling on. Typically witches, at least in the movies I've watched, I've never like researched actual like witchcraft or Wicca or any of that kind of stuff. But in the movies, typically witchcraft is attached to like the devil worship, right? Like they speak to the devil and call on his powers for their bidding and all that such. So I don't know where she's drawing her energy from, or you know, who's controlling these things. So when someone said, I don't know if I want to see this because I don't really usually like demonic possession movies, I thought for a minute on that and was like, I don't know if you would consider this a demonic possession movie. Like, yes, it's a witch movie, first and foremost, obviously. That's the most obvious subgenre it falls into, and the one I'm most excited that it fell into. But then I thought on that for a minute, because I was gonna say, like, spoilers, you know, like I don't know, like, but then I finally did go, like, spoilers it isn't, like, down below. But then I started thinking on that more, and I was like, but I don't know. I feel like even if it isn't, I feel like a lot of people might watch something like this and say, well, they're still like demonically possessed. You know, almost like the argument between zombies and infected, where they're like, no, that's, you know, some people are like very uppity about that, and they're like this and that. And I feel like this is that kind of film where people who are against the demonic possession style of things, they'll just be like, oh, this is like demonic possession light, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that this is a demonic possession movie like at all, because there are very clear distinctions between like a demon exorcism type of movie.
I agree.
Versus this.
I agree.
Usually those types of movies typically only involve one or two people being possessed very much by a demon, and there's usually some type of religious affiliation going on, whether it's, you know, a lot of times in Western films, Christian, Catholic, something like that, but other religions too, right? Like we've seen plenty from other countries that are demonic possession movies, but in that, like, you know, religion or faith. this has nothing to do with that, and this is instead like more of a voodoo type of movie or something. Like it's not voodoo because that's not the right practice, but it's like if you took a voodoo doll and like controlled people like that. It is a witch movie for sure. So I think if anybody, I mean, if you're watching this and you're okay with spoilers, but you haven't seen the film and you're like, you are not wanting to see it because you think it might be demons, I don't think it's even close to that. There's so many things that happen, like the tropes in demonic possession, exorcism movies, that are not at all present in this film.
I feel like because of my review, that most people who know the channel will probably be able to take from that it's not a demon possession movie because people know that I'm usually not a fan of those. And when I said this was an underutilized subgenre, demon possession ain't the genre that I would be referring to. So anyways, moving on from that. So first here we start with Justine Gandy, who is our, I guess, main character. This is an ensemble film for sure. We don't spend like more time with one character than any others. That's what's great about this film is the structure of kind of starting over and doing it again and seeing how all the pieces interconnect. That never got old for me. I think we did it 5 times overall. We did it with Justine, Archer, Paul. We also did it with
James,
with Andrew, who is the principal.
Yes.
Then we did it with Anthony, who's the drug addict.
James,
and then eventually it's Alex,
the child.
Alex Lilly, isn't that the kid? Yeah, that's the kid. Alex.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Alex.
Yeah.
Who's James?
James
you're
is
right.
the drug addict.
Oh wait, I'm looking at.
You're looking at the actor names. I have
no,
no
it says Anthony.
Really?
But it is James in the movie.
He
I
calls
think.
himself James. Does he not? It's James.
I'm pretty sure it's James in the movie.
Like
on
I'm crazy.
IMDb here it says Anthony.
That's weird.
I'm almost. Yeah, you're right. I think I'm almost positive
sure
it's
he
James.
says his name is James.
That's funny.
That is weird.
That's totally not his name in the movie.
Maybe it was Anthony. I don't know, but
I swear it was James too. Maybe James is a different name.
Tell us if we're like totally off on that. But yeah, I love that we do that narrative style. I think you had said somebody compared it to, or maybe it was in our comments, like Magnolia, right? Was like a comparison.
So I was thinking the whole movie when Alden Ehrenreich came on the screen, and I was going to make this joke during our spoiler discussion, and someone kind of took my thunder there a little bit because I didn't think anyone else would think of that movie. But Alden Ehrenreich in this is 100% John C. Reilly's character in Magnolia. He's got the mustache, the way he dotes around, and he's like a kind of a shit cop, and it reminded me so much. I 100% think Magnolia was a big inspiration for this film and its structure.
It's funny because we just watched a movie from Fantasia Fest that I'm like totally blanking on, which we really liked, but it had the same kind of structure of telling sort of the same story from 3 different perspectives. Burning. Mm-hmm. And this is similar, and I love that. I love that we get to see different perspectives of the same events happening to characters, or if it's not the same events, it's what is happening to that character before they come into another person's story, so to speak. Like, so the principal, right? When he's running at her, and that's so fucking scary, which we can talk more about, but I like that we get to find out how that happens, obviously. Overall, I think everything in the film is really satisfying in terms of the mystery and then the resolution of that.
Yeah, because when we went into this, of course, like everybody, we were mostly going in blind because they did a really great job with the marketing campaign here, not giving anything away. I feel like everything I saw in, especially that teaser, that's all the first 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah. Thank fucking God, more of this, please. Because I didn't have anything. There's so many times when I watch movies where I'm like, something's happening to a character or whatever, and I'm like, oh, well, I know they don't die because I know they're in a later scene in the movie because I saw the trailer. Stuff like that where you're just like, oh, or like, oh, I know where this is going. Like we watch Dexter, and a lot of the times I'll see like pictures for the episode, and he'll have like the person on their on his table
like,
in the picture, and I'm like, oh, so he gets him this episode. That's fucking annoying.
When there's
and that's just
trailers,
a picture.
When there's trailers that you can totally tell that there's third act stuff happening, like in the trailer, that is so fucking lame. Like that's like, so why would you do that? And I know that some people like. There might be people, like, you might be one of them that's watching this spoiler discussion before you've seen the movie. So there are people, obviously, not to knock on those people at all. No. Like, there are people that like to know what they're walking into. They don't want to necessarily be surprised. That's totally fine. That's not what I mean. But, like...
most of us don't.
A lot of people don't want to know, like, the trailer's supposed to just be, like, a little quick tease of something. Anyway.
I actually saw the end of a movie in a trailer once.
Yeah, that's
falling
crazy.
Down. Michael Douglas is falling down. He's shot off the pier.
That's crazy.
And it's in the trailer.
That's so insane.
And I literally was like, no fucking way. That can't be the end. I remember seeing the trailer when I was young, and I was like, that looks like the end of the film. And I'm like, there's no way. And then I watched the whole movie, and at the end, I was like, I can't believe they showed that in the trailer.
so
I cannot believe they showed the end of the movie in the trailer. Anyways, let's move on.
Okay, so...
all right, so we start with Justine.
Yes.
And, can I just say for 1 second? Sorry, babe, here, just... This is the hottest Julia Garner's ever looked, and my God, she's always looked hot, but God damn, in this movie, she's next level. Anyway, that aside. Yeah, her, like, walking into class and everyone... Because, like, in the trailer, I don't remember them revealing that one kid...
No.
was left.
I don't remember that either. It's literally just like they're all gone. That shot, like the framing of just following her back, like the back of her head.
Yeah, we don't see her face until after the story ends. Yeah,
until after the story ends, and then I think even maybe until they get to the
It's when
it's when she's like, this is where the story starts, and they go to the committee
when Archer's
or whatever.
Like, I want to hear from her.
Yeah. Then we actually see her face. She's such a fantastic actress when it comes to like her micro expressions and everything. Like I feel everything we see her in, she has such control over just all these little expressions. And anyway, but yeah, it's not revealed that there's one kid left, and that's a fantastic reveal to get, because it's like, oh shit, what's up with this kid? Like, why is he left there? And they do such a good job at hiding like how connected he is to, I mean, he's connected, but it's, his story is left till the very end when we get there's a witch, and he's been, blackmailed essentially to keep his mouth shut. All that's fantastic.
I need to go back and watch it, because I remember the cop bringing him like a Coke.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, and I don't remember if we see his dad sitting next to him. I thought we maybe did.
Yeah.
And he's probably, I'm just thinking the guy's like zonked out because he's like, what the hell happened? But we reveal later that, he's under a trance. And that she told him that he'd had a stroke and whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's why he wasn't going to be reacting or talking much. But going back to what I had previously said, and I completely lost train of thought on that and got off the subject for a second. Going into this, of course, we don't know that this is going to be structured in that way. So I'm paying attention to these little details, being like, oh, that's going to come back later. That's going to, and when he has like his finger pricked, and he has like a bandage over it, and he's like, oh, something at work, and he like moves on from it. I'm like, oh, they don't ever put injuries in films for no reason. That's for something. And I thought we were going to get something later revealed in the movie, and then it's like, no. And then once like we went to, I think Archer's story's next, and then we go back to the beginning, and then we go to Paul's story, and then we go back, and I'm like, oh, this is how we're gonna do the whole film. Like, this is fucking cool, especially since just everything works so well. There's such a great, like, we had talked about this in the spoiler free, so I apologize for any repetition here, but the balance of humor and horror in this is really remarkable, because there's so much like humor, but it's really like well done never corny, never like it's very rewatchable humor too.
Definitely. I really want to rewatch it in general. I'm hoping that maybe we'll get a chance to go see it again in theaters. We rarely see movies again in theaters, but I think this one would be worth it.
Have we ever seen a movie in theaters together twice?
No, I went and saw.
You went and saw Sinners
one on
by
my
yourself.
own, yeah, this year. But yeah, I think the fact that Justine's story literally starts with a witch hunt. Is great. That's what's happening in the town already, and
they're right.
They are right.
They
just think that there's something up with her, and I love that we get. You had said in the spoiler-free discussion, how three-dimensional all these characters are and how flawed they are, and her character just right off the bat sets that standard because she's such an interesting mix of school teacher who clearly cares deeply about her students. Also, an alcoholic that falls off the wagon often, it seems, and gets back on it. And we even get allusions later on with the father who says, I looked into her and she was, fired from her last school and had I think a DUI or something. So we know that she's definitely not squeaky clean. And I like that because despite that, she still comes across as a really caring person. I mean, she literally is putting her job and potential freedom at risk by following this kid around, crossing boundaries when her boss is telling her, don't do that, you're already on thin ice, the parents are upset. Her cop friend is saying, I think, the same thing to her, and, it doesn't stop her from trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah, she's very rebellious in nature,
yeah.
Right? She is a boundary crosser. She doesn't like having limitations, and yeah, she's not a great person. She is caring towards the kids though, as you said.
Yes.
She does genuinely care about the kids, but when Paul shows up at the bar, number one, okay, so both sides are guilty here. Right, I totally blame both sides on this because, number one, she invites a reformed alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic, to a bar to meet her.
Yeah. Which
is fucked up. But he agrees to meet her there, then fully lies to her.
Yes.
About him and his girlfriend being off.
Yeah.
And it's like, they are not. She's trying to get pregnant in the scene that we watch. And
crazy.
Even crazier, he, earlier in the day, thinks he might contract HIV, hepatitis, some sexually transmitted disease, freaks out about it, and what's the first thing he goes and does? He goes out and fucks someone. That's his response to being like, I think I contracted HIV. Let me fuck my ex-girlfriend. And not only am I going to cheat on my current girlfriend who I'm trying to have a kid with and just like told I loved her on the phone, but then I'm going to go meet my ex-girlfriend, fall off the wagon, get drunk, and fuck her. Like, yeah, I hope he wore a condom.
So when we're with Justine and, they have their night together, they sleep together, and she drops him off, and then she goes...
Suck my dick!
She goes, she's a spitfire, obviously. But when she goes to the...
Very Ruth Langmore.
Yeah. Like, toned down, though, quite a bit.
Yeah.
When she goes to the liquor store and she's buying her bottles, and that
chick's following behind her.
It's the framing and the way that, like, you just see her cutting around the corners and stuff, and then she comes up and grabs her, yanks her face like that. It's brutal, and I love...
Because, you think this might just be
You think it's a parent. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought, too.
I was like, this is a parent that's coming. Because she said, I thought she said you hugged him, and earlier the principal was like...
No.
You hugged a kid, or it's inappropriate, and she was like, sorry, I hugged a kid that was crying. So I thought that she was a parent that was the mom of that kid that I don't know. That's what I thought.
Sure.
But then it's you fucked him or whatever instead. And, later on funny. When she goes home and she's sleeping and she sees her on the ceiling, but she has... What's great?
Aunt Gladys.
Is it Aunt Gladys or is it that chick with Aunt Gladys's face, like the makeup? Because that's what I thought it was. I would need to see it again.
I think it's Aunt Gladys.
Because I thought it was like how the so she has that creepy dream, right? Justine has the dream where she goes into the classroom. So there's 2 dream sequences in this movie that I love. I think are fantastic and really play into it, and they're not lame at all. But she goes into the classroom. She sees that kid there, or all of them are there, and they all have their heads down, and then the one kid, lifts his head up, and he has the really fucking creepy smile, and it's Gladys's makeup, right? And then also, just while we're on that scene, on the whiteboard behind her is the class lesson, which is Parasite.
Yeah.
And so that's brought up later with the cordyceps fungal ant thing.
Yeah. Like The Last of Us.
Like The Last of Us. So there's a focus on parasites. But anyway, when she wakes up and sees like her on her ceiling, I thought it was that guy's girlfriend with the makeup, like how she sees the boy in the classroom. But maybe it is Gladys.
I'd have to look at it again. I definitely am trying to kind of piece together that stuff. So we have her dream. We have Archer's dream, which he sees. So he sees a few things in that dream. He sees his kid, right, in his bedroom, which, here's a weird thing for anyone who might have noticed this. For some weird reason, check it out when it's in the room, because as I said, I'm a super observant continuity person. He walks in the room, and the kid's bed is on the opposite side of the room where it is when Archer's sleeping in it. So when we see Archer, look up at the posters above Archer. You see a Mad Max Fury Road poster right above him, and he's in the kid's bed. And he looks at the picture frame directly across from him. In the picture frame, when he's in his dream, the kids are missing, which is really cool. But when he's in the dream, his son, who's the shithead bully, fucking asshole, he's in a bed adjacent. Almost like the shot's mirrored, but nothing's backwards. So I was like trying to look at the words on the wall, but I don't know why the bed has made its way across the room, and we see the Mad Max Fury Road poster and everything that's above him when Archer's sleeping in the bed earlier in the movie. We see all that stuff above him, and he's in the corner. The door's here on the wall with him, where his back is pressed against. But then in this one, he walks directly in the room, and the bed is in front. Yeah. It's against the back wall, which is weird. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, if it has any meaning.
Yeah.
And then I also don't really know what he sees like an M16, I think is what that gun is, above the house in like a shadow with 217, the time that the kids went missing, on the machine gun. I don't really know what that's supposed to be if it's not. So is Gladys trying to influence people? Because Justine sees Gladys in her dreams. Mm-hmm. Because the drug addict sees her out in the woods. Mm-hmm. People are seeing her. Right. It's becoming almost like Pennywise.
Yes.
But like, what's the purpose of it? She's bleeding into their dreams. Is she trying to get him to kill Justine? Like, grab your gun, kill her? She's like putting subliminal messaging. Because I thought it was going to end with like a school shooting, where he was going to go to the school to get vengeance on this teacher who he blames.
Yeah.
And like, it was going to be at like 2:17 p.m. and he was going to kill 17 people at the school.
Well, yeah, obviously the 2:17 is the time when the kids leave.
Yeah.
I don't know what the like the layout of the bedroom. I don't know what that has. I don't know what that meaning that might be, but I do think it's kind of just like a dream. Things sometimes don't line up.
Could just be a continuity error.
It could be a continuity error. I feel I would rather, if it is, I'm just gonna say it's actually just weird dream stuff instead.
It would just be weird, like because the people who are in charge of that kind of stuff, like set designers.
I don't think it's a continuity.
They wouldn't be like the bed's over there, bro.
No.
Like they would, because you see like furniture set up over in that corner.
Yes, it's intentional. I think.
Yeah.
As far as the
gun, there's like no attention drawn to it. I feel like 95% of the people in the audience or more didn't notice it. Did you notice it?
Yeah, I noticed something was weird for sure.
Did you realize what it was?
You said it to me, like, right when it happened.
Okay. I don't think almost anyone noticed.
Regardless.
Which maybe that's like a rewatchability thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, anyway.
Regardless, so the gun in the sky above the house, I think, is obviously the kids and everybody that she possesses, or, whatever, are weapons for her. Right? Like, that's what it is. Like, she
but what's the
controls
purpose?
People. Now, why he's seeing that specifically...
Like, what is she trying to do?
I don't think that she is putting those kinds of imagery into people's heads, necessarily. I think that people in this universe are having kind of, like, psychic... Like, they're picking up on the stuff that's going on around them. And that she's such a weird supernatural force, in a way, that I think that it is causing a ripple effect and influencing the people in that community in that way, especially the people like in these stories that are around what's happening very closely. That's how I took it.
Because Justine doesn't ever see Aunt Gladys until towards the end of the film,
right? Which is why I think that
she sees her in her dream.
The person in her that's why I think that the person on her ceiling is the lady that attacks her earlier in the day, but with that makeup. And same thing with the boy, because I think that Gladys's presence in the community is influencing people, and that she's like an evil force that is seeping into their dreams.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
That's what I think is happening. Yeah. But I don't think necessarily that Gladys is the one purposely putting that in there. It's possible that she is. That's just like something she does as like a fun thing, because like she's just in the community now. But that's how I took it. Same thing with the drug addict when he sees her out in the woods. He's much like the people that are dreaming when they're in a liminal state, when they're kind of more open to that type of thing. He's on fucking drugs. So, he's kind of in that liminal state as well.
I don't think I think that's her.
Maybe.
I don't think that's anything to do with dreams. I think, because that's the scene after he goes into their house.
The only reason I don't think it's her is because...
I think she follows him.
The reason I don't think it's her is because she does that same creepy, like, hand, like, come over here motion that the cop does later. That seems like it's a... I don't know. It just seems...
I don't think so at all.
It doesn't seem like that, but maybe you're right.
I don't think so at all. I think she followed him, and she meant to kill him. And... she was going to, but then the cop showed up and she ran off. So, yeah, I think she was stalking him. He left the house. She needed to go and take care of the witness.
Okay,
because she can't have any witnesses. Then it was 2-on-1, and she was like, shit, she doesn't want to go 2-on-1 because, if she tries to, like, possess one, the other one can attack her. So, she's weakened too, right? She's sick. She's ill from too many years without, more energy that she needs to suck out of these kids or whatever it is. So I think, she's in a weakened state. She chases him down. He sees her in the woods. He thinks he's tripping, but he's not. And then he goes in his tent. He's freaking the fuck out. And then, boom, he hears the thing, and then he opens it up, right? And it's the cop. She just looks
so creepy in that scene. Like,
she is, because when you see Alex? Or what is it? Alex. When we see Alex look in her room, when she has her wig off, she looks decrepit.
But she looks has her wig on in that
terrifying.
Scene.
She does.
Yeah, you're right. No, she is scary. Like, maybe, I don't know. I guess, maybe you're right. That would make sense, I suppose, for her to go out, because she clearly does, like, not everything is magic. Like, she does go out and interact in the world.
Absolutely. She's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Because if we take the last scene, or scenes, the last act, for instance, you have Archer, who is a fully able-bodied man's man, right? Like, Josh Brolin's character is supposed to be, like, the construction worker, man's man. She attacks him in the basement, and he stands no chance against her. Right? So it's her chasing after some little drug addict. Yeah. That's not outside of her wheelhouse for being able to take him out.
Yeah,
so
definitely
for
not.
me,
Yeah.
100% she's chasing him.
Okay, yeah, I like that interpretation of it. With
I guess not 100%,
Archer,
but
that's the dad. We also get a cameo from Justin Long in that scene, which is cool. Everybody was really like excited in the audience to see him, and a great scene because he goes to the house. He's piecing together where the kids are running, And why the cops couldn't do that too is like,
I just don't think they're thinking.
But
that
they're
way.
not. They're not. He's an obsessed dad who's
Yes.
like, I'm going to look at literally every angle.
Because the cops are, like what? That's not a thing.
Yeah,
so they're not going to think like that. But he's looking at it and being like, they're
like
weird.
something is
There's
wrong.
something literally drawing them like a magnet.
Right. But when he goes and talks to the mom and is like, can I look at your ring, like the door,
door footage.
Door footage or whatever. She's like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. And then he literally just stakes out the house and waits and gets the dad. And it's so great because when you just see her standing in the doorway while they're like on the computer, and it's like, bro.
For his kid.
But yeah,
he doesn't give a
I
shit.
mean, that's fine. And ultimately, they find the kids. He does find them because of that. And also because of his meeting with Justine later on.
Yeah.
Which happens totally by chance. Like, he sees her driving and then decides to follow her. And then when they're at the gas station, that's when the fucking teacher... That's one of the scariest scenes because up until that point... Like, okay, the other really scary scene that we didn't talk about is when Justine is drunk in the car and, like, sleeping in the car and outside of the kid's house. And the mom, like, the door opens and she, like, waddles out and is moving so weird. And we see that she has, like, scissors in her hands. That scene is so tense. You're just
and
like,
then the door opens and we don't see her.
When she goes, because she goes by the window and you think, okay, she's just going to leave. And then you hear the door open.
There's such amazing sound design in this film. God, he has really mastered his craft in one film, right? Barbarian was good. This is amazing. And he was able to take anything that he learned off of that and really capitalize and perfect it here. Because, like, when she passes by the window and Justine's just, it's nice and quiet, and it's like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then just, God, there's...
The sound of the door opening.
Subtlety in horror is a lost art. And just the sound of a door opening very quietly, just click. Oh, man. Everyone in that theater...
We were just
was
like,
no.
Oh,
fuck!
Like, it's so bad. So that scene is great. But then the scene when they're at the gas station and she, like, looks over and sees the figure running like the kids. And she's looking like, who is that?
Yeah.
And as it gets closer, you see it's the principal. And his face.
Oh, my God.
Like, I legit was... Last night, like, this is great because I haven't really had this happen to me to this extent since Hereditary. And I'm curious if it's going to continue for as long as it did with Hereditary. But Hereditary, there's scenes in Hereditary that after I saw it for the first time, I, like, had trouble sleeping for a couple weeks because it, like, the images and the visuals kept coming into my head as I was trying to fall asleep, like, just getting super creeped out at night in the room by myself. And that was happening with this movie because of some of the, like, the faces in this. And his face, like, the way his eyes look where they're bulging out, and obviously his face is, like, covered in blood, and just the expression and everything is so scary. And when you find out why he's covered in blood and all that, like, that's just... It adds to it, of course, but when you first see it and you, like, don't know what the fuck is happening, and he's just attacking her and, like, trying to climb under the car after her, and...
So,
oh my God.
When we were talking about this last night on the drive home, my theory on... Because Kayla's like, why were his eyes like that?
All of their eyes are, like... bulging out of their head.
And I think this actually holds water because in the instances where people are possessed in this way, right? So there's a couple different ways people are being, like, possessed in this movie. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit later with Archer's character, right? Because I don't think he's possessed in the same way. And that's going to be important later. But for right now, why are the eyes bulging the way that they are? So my theory on this is that whenever she does her spell, and she can use that spell for whatever. She says, I can have your parents eat each other if I want to, right? So I think what happens is she cuts her finger, she covers the stick, which is from that tree that she carries around, and she wraps an item of theirs around it, hair specifically for the adults. And then when she breaks it, I think in her mind when she breaks it, she gives it a command, like internally, some kind of internal command of like, kill this person, whatever. And I think then what happens is they become magnetically attracted to that person, because obviously Andrew has no idea where Justine is in that moment.
None.
Right? But his body physically knows exactly where she is. He jumps out the door, runs directly at her. Right?
Yes.
So what I think is happening here is that all of his insides are literally being pulled towards her. That's why their arms go back like that.
Yeah.
And they're like because everything internally, like their internal organs, are being pulled towards whatever their, destination is, whatever their target is.
Yeah, they're like a missile.
And so he's just like, all his eyes are literally popping out of their head because they're trying to get to Justine. They're literally like, everything in his body is just trying to get to her. Yeah. And I think that's why the eyes are popping out of the sockets, which is fucking terrifying. It's like every single cell in his body only cares about her and her alone. And it sucks too because, obviously we find out in the end that as soon as Gladys is defeated, once the kids, do what they do, we'll get there, everyone pops out of it, right? So unfortunately, Justine is in love with Paul, and this is like her dude, and she has to shoot him.
Yeah.
And, if she could have waited, but she couldn't. He was going to kill her. There's nothing she could do. She almost died from archer attacking.
Literally...
But as soon as she's dead, boom. Whoever casts the spell, as soon as they're dead.
Or
and what's funny,
as soon as the sticks are broken and put in water.
So what's funny is there is kind of a ticking clock.
Yeah.
Right? So you have the kids that are running towards Gladys, unbeknownst to us, but only now that we know it, after the scene takes place, we find out that if the parents, which is something that's cool to know after the fact, it would have been cool to know in the fact, but there's no way to do it without a bunch of dumb exposition, and I'm so glad that this film never holds hands at any point. They never go and contact somebody at a library or go online and look stupid shit up. Fuck all of that. Us as the audience were smart enough. Thank you, Zach Cregger, for fucking having the belief in your audience that we're not dipshits. But because of that, we don't really understand, but we will in future viewings now, that there is a race against the clock. So Gladys is running, hoping that the parents can get to Alex in time to stop the kids from chasing her. Right. Because if the parents can kill Alex, then he's the person that did the spell, right? And the kids will stop, and she'll be able to then coax them all back to the house. But she's running as fast and as far as she can, hoping the parents will kill him. So we don't realize that in the moment.
Right.
Because we don't realize until Gladys is dead that breaks the spell.
That's another way to break the
So
spell.
that's kind of a really cool thing to think about after it happens. Like, oh shit, if Alex would have died, she would have lived.
Yeah. That's a good point. And that is like something that you really don't.
Because everybody would have been dead, right? Because Archer would have killed Justine because he only lets go of her because the spell's broken. The kids all would have gotten carted back to the house. Yeah. Good luck explaining it to all the neighbors' house they ran through. Oh my gosh, yeah. But regardless, you would have everyone who knew about it, the drug addict, the cop, Justine, Archer. They would have all either been under her control, or dead. Yeah. Had the parents been able to get through that door. Yes. So Alex is the fucking hero of this film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all thanks to him, and it's all just kind of like by the skin of their teeth that they end up actually winning. And it's a kind of hollow victory in a lot of ways too, obviously, but yeah, it sucks with Paul, with the cop, because, like, although his life was really fucked, honestly, like, we find out, like, so not only was his wife or girlfriend or whatever the fuck trying to get pregnant. Yeah. And was only out of town for, like a work trip kind of a thing. But his father-in-law is, like, the police chief. Mm. And so, like, I love this scene, like...
Call me old.
Well, like, no, but, like, when he comes back and it's, like, after his wife or... whatever shows up and is like, you're a piece of shit, like when she like realizes like he's been out drinking and like whoring around or whatever, she calls her dad obviously, because like when he walks by the window,
the dad's like,
Oh my god, the stare down is great. But I do like that we get his story first, and then the drug addict, James. I'm going to keep calling him James because I swear that's what his name was. I know it says Anthony on IMDb, but I swear it was James. I don't know where I'm getting that from if it's not him. But anyway, I loved his character, though. I was, telling, when we were driving home, I was like, it's so weird because he's such, he's a drug addict and, he clearly only cares about, getting high and stuff, but there was something really endearing about him. And his character has a lot of the really good, well-timed, humorous moments. Where he's, trying all the car doors when he's, walking by, and he gets one, and gets, some kid's, little, tablet thing, trying to sell it for drugs. And then when he breaks into the house...
He's so loud.
He's so loud. And he's walking around, and when he goes down to the, living room and sees, the Nintendo or the PlayStation or whatever it is, and then, sees the parents on the couch, and it's just, that whole scene where he's sorry, and then are you okay? And then just kind of continues to rob them.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
All of the humor in this is fucking perfect.
All of it's great. Just his reactions to everything when he goes down and sees the children, and it's just what the fuck? All of that. Really good.
Probably the two funniest bits in the movie. There's a lot of really funny. It's hard to pick out all my favorites because there's so many. I laughed a lot in this film, but I also thought the movie was terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
The funniest bits, which I guess, if I was to compare this to anything as far as the humor versus the fear and scares, It Chapter 1, I feel has a lot of similarities to this film. Sure. But anyway, because this did feel kind of this felt like a novel adaptation, even though it's not. It feels like a Stephen King book or something.
It does. I agree.
Anyway, probably the two funniest parts in the movie for me both include Paul getting stuck with heroin needles.
Oh my god. When he
sticks it in the pocket and then he immediately punches the guy and knocks him out, that fucking made me laugh so hard.
It's so awful. That's why it's so funny, because it's so you should not do that, but then at the same time, he's so pissed off because it's you just got stuck with a needle. Oh my god.
I'd be so pissed.
And then he
when he stabs him in the face,
and he's just oh my god.
Right here in the cheek when he comes through the tent.
Oh, that's great. And then later he's do you have HIV or anything? Hepatitis?
I don't think so.
He's I don't know if I do. I don't think I do.
Oh.
So good. All that, the dynamic between them and their stories and stuff is really, really good. Yeah, and then, the principal...
And he keeps asking about his reward. He's
sir,
sir, how could I get the reward?
He's, so weirdly polite, too. That's what's great, because he's just how do I know you're not going to take it for yourself, sir?
If that kid got 50 grand, he'd be dead in a month.
Die. And it sucks, because it's I don't want anybody to live like that, man.
Arm.
I don't want anyone to have to deal with that. I want everyone to have a clean house and a bed to sleep in and food and not be living on the streets and not be addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
That are going to kill them. Anyway, probably the saddest one though, I think, is the principal's story.
Because, so sad.
And I love, so that's when we first meet Gladys is this. So it's the second to last part of the third, or is that right?
It's the fourth story.
The fourth story, so it's we're almost at the final act. We're right before, and that's when we get to see her, when he agrees to have a meeting with the parents, he's talking to Justine.
Maybe it's the fifth.
And then his receptionist comes in and is your 2 o'clock's here, and we just see her... I guess that's not the first time we see Gladys, because we see her with James, or with the drug addict, but when we really meet her...
that's the first time.
Oh,
I think James is after.
Oh.
Or maybe not. I don't know. I thought for sure that was the first time we saw her, because I was what the fuck? Outside of seeing her above the bed and that. I thought when she walked in, because that was... The audience was who the
She's
fuck?
So weird.
And then the receptionist just sits there and stares at her and looks at him and looks back at her. That shit was so funny too.
Yeah, her that whole interaction, because we talked about this and you had a really good point when he's I have to meet with the legal guardians, the legal parents, like, because there's been a report of like potential abuse or whatever it is that he says, a wellness check kind of thing. And she's like, oh, they're not well, they have consumption,
yeah.
And he's
this was something I picked up on earlier today.
Yeah.
I don't remember why we were watching. Oh, we were watching a show from the 1930s, Eden, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, she probably uses that term because she's old as fuck, and to her that's like, because she talks about how old she is and how it's been a while since she's done anything. It's gotta be
a long time.
So it's like, the last time she had to like really come out in public, I think consumption was a term people used. So I think that's actually like a good way to kind of gauge how old she is and like the last time she needed to feed.
Yeah,
because I think that's her last time she's had to interact with the public.
I mean, and maybe she's interacted...
Because she says it like it's a thing people would know.
But yeah, she says it like so casually, and consumption is... Yeah, like people haven't been like, I've got consumption.
Since
I mean, maybe
the late
ironically...
1800s.
Yeah, but like that's not a thing. But that used to be, yeah, like when people were sick, it's like they have consumption. Like they have the consumption or whatever. That, and then also, so when she shows up at their house...
Yeah.
Which is really funny because they bring out... His husband brings out this tray that has like 6 or 7 like hot dogs. And it's like, seems like a lot of hot dogs for 2 people.
And then when they're at the store too, all he's doing is he's picking out like Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's like Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it tastes great, but dude, there's no fucking way you could get me to eat something like that. So those guys eat like shit.
Whatever. But yeah, they're sitting down to this TV dinner to watch some nature thing on the cordyceps fungus like taking over these ants, which is great. But when she shows up there and is like, she walks in and she's like, oh, I bet that's like antique or vintage or whatever, like almost like she recognizes it.
She's recognized.
And then when she goes into the kitchen and she's like, these big white like modern cabinets or whatever. I don't know if she says modern, but she's like, I don't know, she's like very excited about the house, which is also very funny. But she plays like the actress does such a fantastic job. Like this is definitely the most memorable villain of the year, like without a doubt. Like
she reminded me a decent amount of Longlegs.
I was just gonna say that there's some Longlegs. It's partly the makeup and stuff and like the way she looks, because she like cakes on her makeup and like her lips are like super overlined with the bright red. Like she does look kind of like a clown in some ways, and like the bright orange hair. There's some clown vibes for sure. But just when she like pulls out her bag and is like, I want a bowl of water, and is just like, bowl of water. And they're just going along with it to be polite, and she's like cutting herself, and then all of that to where it leads, where he's like, you know, taken over and then just starts bashing his husband's head in with his own head, is so gnarly. And that is a great, like, that gore, even though it's like out of focus and we don't get like a clear, but like you see it, like you see his head caved in, and like that guy's face just covered in blood and his eyes are bulging out. And then it's like, that's when she sends him to go after Justine, and we see him running through like the whole like town. The whole town, like he's going through this like next to these restaurants, and people are like reacting like, oh my god, like he's running through like by a baseball or basketball game or something.
It's a baseball game.
And somebody's like, dude, what the fuck? Like somebody says that. Great humor injection too, because like you would literally be like, what the fuck is that? All of that is so good. I
had told Kaylee when we were coming home that if you took a shot every time somebody said what the fuck in this movie, you'd be pretty drunk. You'd be dead.
Yeah.
You would be dead.
But they're
all said at least 25 to 30 times.
Such a believable reaction.
That would be your belief.
You would
react. I get it. I'm not saying it's not believable, but it's a lot, and it's every time it's said, it got a laugh from the audience. The drug addict says it quite a bit. But they are all what the fuck moments.
100%. And as the audience member, you are thinking that. You're like, what the fuck is that?
So, real quick before I forget, and don't forget what you were going to say.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
For sure?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on to it. Because now that we brought up the drug addict, I do really want to quickly say, and somebody please fix this problem for me. It's nothing I care about, honestly. But it is a continuity error that I can't reconcile. So I said I'd bring that up. I don't want to forget it. And because we're talking about the drug addict, let's talk about it really quick. So in the scene when Paul brings the drug addict, whatever his name it might be, to the house. He goes into the house, and then we do this kind of funny jump cut to night, right? And so then Paul comes out, gets him out of the car, and takes him in the house, right?
Yeah.
And then that's like the last we see him until the end of the movie. So, later in the movie, we then see Alex coming home during the day. And he looks at the cop car and he actually like stops for a second when he sees the cop car. Like he's like, what's that? Then he walks in the house and he sees Paul and the drug addict are both just sitting there in the living room. Paul's still standing like directly inside the living room where he would have walked in before. But I don't think, obviously he went out and grabbed the drug addict. We know that for sure. But this scene doesn't really make any sense to me because we know that that Alex walks to school on his own. He gets I feel like someone in town probably would have noticed a kid like Kevin McAllister style grocery shopping by himself and buying tons and tons of chicken noodle soup that's
Especially
mostly
after,
given to children, and there's a bunch of missing children.
Yeah.
I feel like that would raise a couple red flags. Putting all of that aside, Alex stops when he walks up to the house and is like, there's a cop car here. It's new to him. He's not seen it before. But if that cop car should have been there in the morning when he left for school, why you wouldn't have saw the cop car leaving the house and the cop and the other guy in his living room when he walked downstairs? They're new to him when he gets home. The cop car's new. The cops knew. The drug addict's new. But he was brought in at night. Alex goes to school in the morning. He's coming home to school or from school to the house during the day. There's no way to make that work.
Okay, so what I'm wondering, so when he walks in, so he sees the cop car, he walks in, the cop is standing there. Is the drug addict already in the house at that moment too?
He is.
Okay, because I was going to say, if
maybe he's
not,
still in the car.
He would still be in the car.
He would be like yelling at the kid even if he was in the car. Like,
he could be asleep.
Something. He could be asleep, but the drug addict is in the house too, 100%. Okay. He looks over and he sees him too.
I don't have a good,
an explanation.
I don't know what's going on with that. So somebody.
The only explanation that I could possibly come up with is he spent the night somewhere else that night.
There's no where.
I don't know where he could have possibly spent the night somewhere. He went out the back. He never came, but the stairs, where he's upstairs in his bedroom, the stairs, there's only one stairway down to the living room, and right at the base of those stairs is the cop standing there.
Yeah.
And nobody moves. We know because his parents are sitting in the same spot for like a week.
Right.
Right, so we know that no one moves until she tells them to move. Right, so I cannot make sense of that. It makes no sense. How's it work? It doesn't work. It's a fuck up. It's a continuity error.
We would have to. I need to rewatch it and see if there's like something else that we're missing there. But yeah, like if you've just seen it,
I hope I'm wrong.
Let us know.
Please tell me I'm an idiot and that I'm missing something. I'd love to hear it.
The thing that would make the most sense is if the drug addict is not in the house at that time, because then he's in the car.
He's asleep in the car.
And the cop is in there, and that's what happens. And then that would be what I would assume. But I'm
100% sure the drug addict is also standing there in the house.
I don't know. So you'll have to let us know.
Because that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was looking for him, and I was like, and then when he was in the house, I was like, how is he in the house? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, I have no explanation for that, unfortunately.
And we know the drug addict never fell asleep. I mean, we cut to the next scene, and he's still sitting there like, come on, man. Like, he's wide awake.
I mean, yeah.
He never fell asleep.
He could have fallen asleep and then just
I'm
okay
accepting that if he wasn't in the house, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
So, please, someone, fix that issue. But it's a continuity error. Maybe he snuck out the back window. And he went to school.
It's a weird one, for sure.
I don't have an explanation otherwise. But regardless, moving on, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say with the principal, we get, again, the relentless, like, heat-seeking missile type of thing. He follows Justine into the convenience store, is attacking her,
and then she yells, "Fucking help me!" to the clerk. He's like, "Get out of my store!"
Yeah, she's like, "Fucking help me!"
That made me laugh.
That was so funny. Because, like, what are you doing? fine, dude. Like, why aren't you calling the police
100%.
or something? Like, even
don't
if
you guys have
don't
bats? Don't you have guns?
Bro,
like,
so funny. And she's such a small, like, little lady that it's like, come on, dude.
She can't be more than 90
oh my
pounds.
God. But when he runs after her, and then she gets in the car and drives, and he's running down the street, and then the only thing that stops him is getting hit by another car.
And that poor woman.
Is
screaming.
So, like, his head is like.
Oh my God.
That was another really great gore scene where his head is like
good.
caved, like cut off, like. It's gnarly, but yeah, she's like freaking out. Like, that would just destroy you. I don't know what I would do. I would probably just never speak or move or do anything ever again.
Yeah.
If I like hit somebody and then that's what happened. Oh my God. Yeah. So I think his is one of the only other one that is sadder, obviously, is Alex, the boy. Alex, that's his name.
What kid. About him?
Like the story.
Oh, sure.
Right. Like,
well,
everything
with
him.
His life and his parents. At the
I
end.
know, but dude, it's so like, and what's great about that is that it really feels, there's some stuff about child abuse and how kids, when they are being abused and they don't speak up and they can't talk about it, like that fear and that can hold them where they've been threatened and they're like, I can't tell anybody what's happening to me because something worse will happen. And in this case, he's trying to protect his fucking parents, which is just so tragic and awful.
Well, that goes back to the scene, too, where Justine's outside of his house.
Yeah.
And he, like, turns around and yells at her, stop following me.
Right,
because he doesn't want to get his parents killed.
Right. She's trying to talk to him and ask him. And even where we see... So, okay. The start of his whole story, he gets bullied kind of from fucking archers.
Yeah.
Son.
Piece of shit. Billy or whatever.
And he...
What's his name? Go on.
Anyway, the whole setup of Aunt Gladys is coming to stay with us. And they haven't seen her when he's eavesdropping. She arrives late at night. Yeah. Like in the middle of the night. And then in the morning, he's eavesdropping on his parents. And his dad's like... We're not equipped to take care of her. We're not...
We haven't seen her in 15 years.
We're not a hospice. Yeah, we haven't even seen her in 15 years. I mean, she didn't even show up to our wedding. I love that setup because it makes it almost possible that that's not Aunt Gladys, which I think is probably the case. I feel like that can't be Aunt Gladys. I think that is another woman that is just like... She's a parasite, so she's like, I'm going to be Aunt Gladys and get into this family's life.
Maybe
she is Aunt Gladys, and she's just been a witch this whole time.
I think she's just kind of made her way into families to keep them around for later.
Maybe that's what it is. But I think it's a great setup from the perspective of a child, where it's like creepy aunt is coming to stay. This is weird, and then when his dad drops him off. Well, first, I mean, he does see Aunt Gladys in her bedroom, and that's creepy. That scene that you mentioned earlier.
Because if you think about it realistically, an aunt is someone in your family's sister, right? Yeah. So it's either your dad's sister or your mom's sister, right? That's the only way an aunt works.
Yeah.
Right? So as old as she is, we're saying she's been around for hundreds of years, at least, in my opinion. She could be 1,000 years old. She could have been around during the Salem witch trials. She could be friggin' 500, 600 years old. Whatever she is. I don't know. But I'm going to assume she's hundreds of years old, at least. In order for that to be the case, she does not have a sister or a brother that are still alive. Mm. So there is no way she can be anyone's biological aunt.
Yeah.
So she has to have married, and then, like, the husband she's married to, his, like, sister considers her an aunt by marriage, right? The kids would consider her an aunt by marriage. That's the only way she could be in the family. And she probably... Because I'm assuming, like, when she feeds on the kids and whatever, she'll get younger.
That's what I would assume, too. Like, she should get better and
We
better.
never see her get younger.
We don't.
We don't even see a kid who's, like, emaciated or dead. We don't know what...
No.
We don't know what's happening to people. I don't know how long she
Yeah.
feeds off of people. We don't even know what the feeding process looks like. she just puts them in a trance and takes their energy, and that's why they're almost motionless, is because she's ridding their body of their energy.
I would think that she's like absorbing it.
And then eventually they become
the analogy
husks.
of the cordyceps. I think that's supposed to tell us like what she does, where she slowly just starts taking over, and eventually the ant isn't really the ant anymore; it's just the cordyceps.
So does she continue to keep looking the same way?
I think that's what would eventually happen to them.
Does she continue to keep looking the same way, but gains vitality? Maybe. And her aim in the game is to take the strength of 15 children, and they're just going to stand down in the basement and age naturally for 60 years, and she's just going to take their energy that whole time?
I would think that she would also get younger looking, because it would be kind of... I mean, I guess immortality is fine if you're still going to be immortal even though you look like you're 60 or something.
She looks older than 60.
But you know what I mean. Like, I would just assume that she would get younger eventually, but...
We never see the feeding process.
We don't.
So we don't know what that...
Which is good, though. I'm kind of glad that we don't, because I like that it's kept vague. I think it's...
I thought we were going to get a taking of Deborah Logan's scene with her and one of the kids.
Actually eating the kid.
Yeah, because none of the kids are dead. All 17
they're
come
all
back.
Alive. I mean, she keeps everyone alive so far that is... like under her control, but the going back to like the setup and everything. So when after he leaves her school that day, and his dad's like, "I'll pick you up at 2:00," and then doesn't show up, and he walks all the way home, and his parents are obviously sitting there and being very creepy, and Gladys comes out and is in charge now, and all of that is really great, because you get right off the bat that mix of her quirky aunt with weird aunt, but then she's also what you had said earlier when she makes them stab themselves with the forks, and she's like, I could make them eat each other. Yeah. So evil, and so she doesn't give a shit. Like, she's just evil, pure evil. Yeah. But she has that sickly sweetness too, which is just, it's such a good portrayal of kind of a typical witch, like the Hansel and Gretel, right? Like the witch that would draw you in and be like, I'm so sweet and wonderful, but is actually going to eat you. Yeah. That's like such a great modern example of that. And that's why I think, as we had said in our spoiler free, like, this is going to be a classic for sure. But as his story goes on, and it's so sad. He's feeding his parents soup. She's like, you got it. And he's like struggling to open the cans. Like, he's never really opened up a can. Is he
cleaning their asses too?
I know.
They gotta be shitting.
I was like, I'm assuming that they don't. I'm assuming that their like body kind of has stopped functioning, because also when they get cut, when Paul gets shot, it doesn't even look like blood that comes out of his head. It looks like black.
Sure, but when he gets shot in the throat, he's bleeding out of it. But that doesn't stop him at all. It doesn't even faze him, which is scary. The fact that, like, when they sustain injuries...
And they just keep going?
Another part that had the theater... This was the scene I was referring to when I was talking about how there was this amazing blend of humor and horror at the exact same time. So everyone in the theater was actually horrified and laughing at the same moment when the drug addict was chasing Archer around, and he kept just throwing him like a rag doll, and he just would not stop.
No.
And every time he jumped up and ran at him and he threw him again, everyone in the crowd would laugh their ass off, and then immediately go back to like...
Right, yeah, because you're just like, it's like, holy shit, like, he's never going to stop.
Is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again? He's never going to quit.
Great. Yeah, really great. That's a fantastic scene.
As soon as they break the salt line.
Oh, man. When
all three of them.
Yeah, like, everything leading up with that. So then she's like, give me, go get, if I got, like, an item from all of your classmates, like, that could help. Like, that could really help me. And he's like, how the fuck is that going to help you? And she's just like, it might be what I need. And he does it. Yeah, because she's like, well, yeah, like, if I got better, like, I would maybe leave. Like, I would leave. So sad. And I love, like, the scene of him, like, just him sitting in class, like, kind of looking around, like, at all these little, like, the eraser and, like, this guy's fidget toy, and then he, obviously takes the names off of their, like, little cubbies, and just great because that's another moment when Justine comes in and she's like, "Are you okay?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I just forgot something. Like, I just forgot it." And it's like so clearly a kid that's like not okay at all, but he's doing his best to just play it off like, "I'm fine. Like, it's all right." And when he gives them to her and he wakes up to her cooking, making her like potion in the middle of the night, and then they go stand out there and see all the kids just like running, his expression when he looks like when he sees them coming and is just like, "Oh my god," and like looks over at her and they're just looking at each other, so good.
Yeah, he starts walking down the stairs at 2:15 and I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go."
Yeah.
And then boom, all of them running and they just stand and we're just waiting and looking into the darkness like he has no idea what the fuck he's looking for, and then all of his classmates start running
and he's
him.
horrified. I mean, he's literally like,
when the drug addict goes like opens the basement and just sees all the kids standing there and then when they all turn around.
Yeah. So good.
That's fucking great.
So good. But yeah, the salt line. Whenever she's like, she says it so casually, where she's like, "Don't cross the salt. Like, don't step over the salt." And you're like, what the fuck is going to happen with the salt?
And then they're...
Oh my god, yeah. So, okay, the ending of the movie.
Oh my god.
Right?
My favorite
when
ending
the parents are coming after him and like hitting their heads through the door and the mom's eyes are bulging out while she's looking down at him. Just nightmares. Just kill me. I don't ever want to see it.
17 kids. So like the whole kids chasing her down.
Yeah.
World War Z style.
Yeah.
Smashing through the windows. All the neighbors being like, "What the fuck?"
And
then them just running through the whole town. Them getting the vengeance on her for what happened to them, so to speak, but it's through the kid who deserves the most vengeance. Just as perfect as it could ever be. As soon as I saw him grab because he kept watching. It wasn't, and that's why this movie's so great. There's no like hyper fixation on it where it's like it keeps lingering and it keeps doing these things where the audience is cluing in. It's very smart in that way.
Yeah.
Where the kid's just seeing it happen and he's soaking it in. Kids are smart. They're sponges.
Yeah.
And he watches with a ritual multiple times and he knows what to do. He doesn't need to hear it. He doesn't need her to be explaining it. She doesn't need it to teach it to her. Right? And he goes, and as soon as he grabbed one of the branches, I was like, holy shit. And he grabbed a piece of her wig. He grabbed her wig, and then he pulled her actual hair out of the wig. Yes. And when he started to wrap it, and he was in front of the thing, and I was like, oh my god, this is where this is going to go. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing. Please fucking land this. Please do this. And when they're chasing her, the way they're chasing and the way she's screaming.
Oh my god. When she realizes what's happening and she's like, oh shit. And then
and she just takes off out the front door.
Oh my god.
And then they come and they all dogpile her and they rip her apart.
They're biting.
The way that they fucking pull her head apart.
Oh my god. It's perfection.
It's literally I don't know, man. I could honestly, genuinely say this is in a serious contention for like my favorite ending I've ever seen.
I agree. I think it's perfect. It's perfect. And that is the exact thing we were talking about, where it's like, it is like funny because like when she's running and just like screaming and like she's just like this old frail woman and running through people's houses and they're like, what the fuck? And then like the wave of kids just
when they just come
busting
through the windows,
and like it's like a bomb went off all of a sudden. And
very World War Z.
The guy that's like mowing the lawn that like looks over and like sees her running, and then it's like 17 funny. Screaming kids. It's like you would just be like, what is happening? And yeah, the ending, after they kill her and everything, this is like so messed up because it's like, Archer, he comes out of his stupor and goes out after the trail of destruction, which
there's a man in our house.
Yeah, that's another really funny part where she's like, oh my god, because they're just like, everything's destroyed. But seeing these kids just like all standing there kind of like, they're still dumbfounded and not like fully there, like
they're catatonic.
They're covered in blood. And it's like that. Those kids are going to be messed up for the rest of their lives. And, I love that we get the ending narration, which I don't know who this little girl is. Because there's no little girl.
This character is.
Which is what it makes. Okay, the reason why I said it was like a dark fairy tale is that it also feels like a urban legend or something. Because it's like a little girl like saying like, yeah, like in this town, like a lot of people died in really bad ways, and there's like, you know, this whole story, and then she ends it by being like, yeah, like some of them are even talking now, and like Alex's parents though, like he doesn't live with them, they're like getting fed soup somewhere still, like they're not
they're
recovered, but like some of the kids are talking, and it's like just that ending it's so good, like it has a really nice bookend to it.
So okay, I'm not 100% sure, like, how to take that stuff. So, we had talked earlier about this, and the conclusion I've come to is that she has multiple ways of controlling people. So, there's the way that we see, which is her taking someone's hair, taking it, putting it around a stick, breaking that stick, and making them a weapon, right? Yeah. That's the weapons of the movie. Then there's the Archer scene in the basement, right? So, okay, let's think about a couple people here. So we have the cop. He comes to the door. He's on guard. He's got a gun. He is a trained police officer. Like, this is not just some, you know, gay couple that she gets the best of because they're, you know, sitting at, you know, their Saturday hangout. They're off guard. They're not... Yeah. You know, they don't know what the fuck is going.
Yeah.
Totally fine. I get that happens, right? But with a cop coming to her door, she's not going to fucking go, grab his hair, cut it off, cut herself open. He's going to have a gun on her. He's not going to let that happen. So, same thing with Archer in the basement. Archer is down in the basement. He's looking for his kid. This guy is ready to fuck people up. We literally just saw him throw this drug addict maniac across a room 15, 20 times.
Yeah.
This guy could fuck Gladys up so hard. But she surprises him and immediately grabs him. Now, I think she has some kind of power with touch where she can kind of make a drone of sorts. Maybe this is like the same way the kids act, because the kids are in a specific trance when they're brought to the house, like the guy. But then I think she probably breaks their, or not breaks it, but puts it in the water and takes the trance off of them, and then puts them in the basement and puts them in the same trance that Brolin's in.
Yeah,
I think because they came out of the wood snap trance, that makes people like catatonic. They can't really function after that very well. But then I think once they're like kind of there, she can do whatever she did to Brolin and to Archer and to Paul. Because I don't think she did not do the snap thing with them. I'm almost positive she did something else to them.
I don't know, because they have the same face though as that. Like I don't know about Archer. I don't think
Archer doesn't have bulging eyes,
but Paul and the drug addict for sure do.
They do eventually, because I think once she takes possession of them, then once the salt lines are drawn, that's a whole new thing. And if anyone breaks that, they become weapons.
I definitely would want to watch it again, obviously, because like I do think there's kind of different spell things happening, because
100%.
She specifically requests for items from the kids, but then also with the principal, she has his ribbons, so she's like looking at them in his office, and then he notices them and they're wrapped around the stick.
Sure.
And then she grabs his spouse's hair and wraps it around. So I don't know if all she needs is like something on them, like an item on them.
It doesn't matter, because we still see it in this kitchen.
She probably does have
She has to literally like cut her finger, rub it, break it around, and crack it. There's no way she could do that with Archer.
Mostly because with Archer, she like lunges at him and is like, rah, like scary. Yes. Versus so just trying to be like, oh, I'm like, I'm trapped. Like, she doesn't play it off like she.
No.
Yeah. So there is something.
Like, I'm a victim
too. The other thing too that we had talked about is also the length of time that they're in there. So the people that have been in the longest are the parents.
They're more catatonic.
So they are
never recover.
Like not recovering.
Yeah.
The children have been in there for at least a month.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit longer,
and
I think, at this point.
Some talk again, some
And some
don't.
are starting to talk again.
Yeah, some are more resilient.
I imagine that all those kids, even if all of them start talking again, they're probably not ever going to be what they could have been. Like, they're probably stunted in some way.
My theory on that is potentially this, is that the kids who start talking again are the kids that she had yet to feed on.
I was just going to say. So I think she probably fed on the parents the most, obviously.
She fed on them for sure. We know that for sure.
And then the kids...
Because she says it's not enough.
She was going down there, and she was probably down there feeding as
she was probably taking them one at a time and feeding on them, and the ones that she had yet to get to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good, like...
Those are the ones that could pull out of it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously she never fed on Archer. So he's just like, he was able to bounce back. So yeah, I think it's a combination of like amount of time, but probably more what you're saying. Like it's
if
whether
she's
she
fed
took
on
from
them and their energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But I do not see how it's possible that she does the stick trick, we'll call it, on Archer or the cop. I don't, especially Archer. There's no fucking way she would have time to grab his hair, put it around a stick, cut herself, bleed on it, and crack it. He would have knocked her the fuck out 30 seconds before she could even bother trying any of that shit.
Yeah.
He was ready for anything down in that basement. Yeah. So there's something she's able to do quicker.
Yes.
In that basement. I don't know what it is. We don't see it. Do I care? No, because she's a fucking witch.
Yeah,
she can have multiple ways of doing it.
I could see that this, like, for people that are really...
hypercritical,
or like maybe just didn't like the film. Like I could see people having problems with that.
How does this make
like
sense?
Yeah, like it doesn't work and whatever. But like honestly, I just think it doesn't need to be completely explained in this case because the film is so successful in literally everything else for us. Like it's such a fantastic story, and the scares and the horror are just at the highest peak for us. So it's like little things like that. If anything, it just makes it more exciting because we can talk about it and be like, well, maybe it was this and maybe it was that, and but it also adds to what I was saying where it's like this little girl is telling this story where she doesn't have like, you don't necessarily tell all the details of a story, right?
Sure.
Of a fairy tale or something. Right? You leave some things open-ended and it's like, well, she's a witch, so she can obviously do certain things,
I can't explain everything in Halloween.
Oh yeah, exactly.
There's multiple things in Halloween that make no sense. I've brought them up in in my review of the whole film.
Who taught him how to drive? That's the biggest one.
Why was the response time from the Haddonfield Police Department like 12 hours to get to that hardware store? I don't have explanations for them. I don't care. At the end of the day, as long as the movie is really, really fucking well done, has great atmosphere, executes in so many different ways. Little continuity errors like where the bed is in the room, or
but that's
if Alex should have known where the cop car was going to be there when he got home from school. That kind of stuff is so fucking petty. If that's the kind of thing that stops you from liking a movie, then I don't know. Movies aren't for you.
Those are definitely the kinds of things that like we could go back and watch it and be like, oh wait, like here's the timeline or something. Like it's possible.
It's possible. I think it's unlikely.
With the bed and everything, I think that is intentional. I think it's supposed to add a creepy, like unsettling.
I do too.
This room looks similar to what it was, but it's not the same because he's in a dream.
I agree.
So I think that there's purpose there. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we did a really good job considering we have no notes and it's been like, almost 24 hours since we've seen this movie. So,
sure.
But I 100% want to see it again. I want to own freaking Blu-ray 4K of this when it comes out.
Sure.
It will be hard for this to be topped, for the year. But
it won't be.
But
it won't be topped.
It's possible.
This is like The Substance last year.
Yeah.
I'm calling it right now. This isn't getting topped.
It's possible. I don't know.
This will be my number one at the end of the year.
Still one that is like, and
I'm sure Keeper will be great, but it's just this is the best film of 2025.
The Conjuring lost rights, bro.
Yeah, Michael Chavez is gonna fucking somehow,
Five Nights at Freddy's.
after his shitty The Devil Made Me Do It movie. Somehow he's gonna make an even better film than The Conjuring.
I fucking love The Conjuring.
The Conjuring 1 and 2 aren't anywhere near as good to me as this film. I like The Conjuring 1 and 2 a good amount.
Yeah.
But this is something totally different to me.
Yeah,
this is wholly original.
Yeah.
The Conjuring is very good at what it is.
Yeah.
But what it is very tropey,
it's
generic.
Very different from this.
Very I've seen The Conjuring movie 100 times before. I don't feel like I've ever seen anything like this before.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So this is a wholly original. I mean, original. You know what I mean. Nothing can be possibly original anymore, but it's as
really
original as it's gonna
and
get.
Like fresh, yeah.
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 Don't get me wrong. I love The Conjuring. So for anyone who's like typing below, I'm just saying.
Teasing. Yeah,
I know you're kidding.
We're excited for The Conjuring. We're not gonna. I mean, we didn't like the last one, but we're gonna revisit it and give it another shot. I'm sure before the new one. But I'm just mostly teasing because
there's a whole ton of movies coming out still. But they're not going to top this. I'm going to tell you right now. I would love to be wrong. I would love for Weapons to not even make my top 10.
Sure, if there was
that'd be the greatest movie year
better.
of all time.
Yeah.
If I got 10 more movies than the rest of this year that were better than this, bring it on. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This will be my number one. You mark my words, in January or whatever, when we do our top 10 of 2025, Weapons will be number one for me. Yeah. I guarantee it.
Well, I want to know what everybody else is thinking as far as their theories and favorite scenes and just everything.
This is like
I want to know.
This is like a perfectly executed Longlegs.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like to me. Longlegs was great. I loved it. It made my top 10 of last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this did everything in Longlegs, but even better. Yes. So, anyway, any other scenes? I mean, there's all sorts of funny moments, of course, we didn't touch upon. We didn't talk about every single thing in the movie.
No.
There's definitely things that we might have skipped over. I don't know if there's anything else worth.
One thing, that weird ass commercial that she's watching or that's on in the background, that's like a string that what is that? Is that a real thing?
I have no idea.
What the fuck is that thing? It was like it extends and it looks like it's floating and it's like I don't
remember.
Okay.
100%.
I was like, you remember the commercial though? So fucking weird. What is that thing?
I don't know.
What is that?
Yeah. Do you think that Justine was going to school drunk? Do you think she's a functioning alcoholic? Or do you think that she went back to booze after this whole thing went down? Yeah. So you think she'd quit?
I think she was I think I guess what I would say, like, my headcanon is that they probably met in, like, her and Paul probably met in like an AA group or whatever.
So here's what
I think, like, this tragedy happened and the whole town is turning against her, and I think she started drinking as a result of that. I think she was drinking and, like, because she had a DUI and she had whatever happened with, like, a past coworker, left that area, started over fresh, got hired at this new school, was, doing good.
So you think she met Paul in AA. The only reason that I refute that is because Paul talks about how she never makes, like, good decisions when she's drunk, essentially.
Well, he says, like, what I think he says to her is, whatever. I know that this never helps. Like, whatever this is never helps.
Which means he knows her drunk.
But it could also just mean, like,
she's relaxed.
As a fellow alcoholic, this never helps. Like, drinking never helps. But you're right.
No, he's like very specifically you.
Yeah.
Justine, he says, I know you better than most, or like, I know you.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they haven't met in AA, and
But she's only been there for a few years, right? Because she gets fired from her previous school for giving a kid a ride home. Because she gets too close to...
She gets fired from her previous school because of, like, she had some inappropriate thing with, like, another teacher. Like, something,
right. Who
like
does she give a ride home to?
Together.
Who does she give a ride home to? They said something about her giving a kid a ride home.
Yeah, at this school.
At this school, as a little girl.
And she's like, I lived right down the street, and they're like, it's inappropriate, and then she hugs the kid because they're crying, and the principal keeps being like, you're a teacher, not a parent, like, which is,
that's just
sucks.
Modern.
It's very,
that's just a very modern thing.
Because, if anything happens...
Teachers would fucking hit kids when I was a kid.
They're like...
They would literally take out rulers and hit you with them.
I mean, I'm glad that doesn't happen. I'm glad we don't do that.
I am glad too, but shit, things were so different.
But yeah, well, that's why she's kind of just like I'm just being like a caring teacher, like driving a kid home because they live near me and their ride never showed up, and hugging a kid that's crying. Like those are things that I think most anybody would be like, yeah, that seems like kind of a basic, bare minimum type of thing. But yeah, unfortunately, in the modern era, you have to be really careful about a lot of things, especially with children, because I mean, they're there are bad people that could be driving kids home, and bad people that could be hugging kids.
Well, especially since she has a DUI.
Yes,
going to AA. Probably not good to be driving this kids around drunk. But yeah, she is a full-blown alcoholic in this.
Oh yeah, she's got her like big gulp and she's pouring into her vodka and just
people
drinking
pull
it.
up next to her and she's like,
oh my god, so messed up.
Man, yeah, when we see Paul's girlfriend or whatever, and I'm like,
when she's like yelling at her,
I was just thinking of like, oh my god, yeah, if it was up to me,
she's pretty. Yeah, she's pretty, but she's like, so you can tell that they're not a good fit. She's like a real like typical like, just very typical typical woman is like, I'm ovulating, like we gotta have sex now.
Awful.
That's gotta be like a really unsexy thing about trying to have kids is like, we have to have sex when you're ovulating, otherwise we miss our window. Anyway.
That's that. Anyway, she reminded me of that actress. Is it something Punch? What's her like? I know that's her last name. I want to say it's Lucy Punch. Yeah, she reminds me a lot of.
Oh yeah, she did kind of look like her. Yeah.
And as far as the Miss Aunt Gladys.
Yeah.
The only thing I know her from, which I haven't seen her in forever. If she's been in anything else I've watched, I haven't seen her in forever and ever and ever, but she is John Candy's girlfriend in Uncle Buck.
Oh, you know who she was kind of reminding me of? She actually kind of reminded me of Glenn Close.
Oh my god, yeah, totally.
I kept thinking that.
In fucking, the one we watched recently, where she's like, has cancer, and she's like, whatever.
Oh!
Where she's like,
yeah,
she's with the she's
with the black family.
Yeah,
I forgot what the name of that is.
She's like the grandma.
Yeah, totally. She looks like her.
Scary looking in that, man.
Yeah.
She's scary looking. Period. In Fatal Attraction,
oh my God, no.
when she's supposed to be sexy,
scary.
She's not. She is not sexy in that.
At least not to us, but obviously.
Sure, you can have your taste.
Anyway, but yeah, she was reminding me of Glenn Close in this.
That's a good call.
It's a compliment though, because I think Glenn Close would
have killed
fabulous actress.
You know who I thought it was when I first saw her is Frances McDormand. McDermott. How do you say her name? I'll show her to you from Fargo.
Oh, okay. I think I know.
That's who I thought it was.
Yeah.
When I first saw her, and then when I looked it up after, I was like, oh shit, that's the chick from Uncle Buck. I haven't seen her in forever, so it was kind of cool to pull her out of thin air and whatever. So excellent. Obviously, we
fantastic.
Said enough, I guess.
Tell us more things.
What did we miss?
Yeah,
what are your favorite scenes?
Yes.
What were the funniest scenes? The scariest scenes?
Yes.
Hope I didn't forget anything.
Else gonna have trouble sleeping besides me? Like I woke up and went to the bathroom last night, and I was thinking of that fucking kid's face when he's sitting at his desk. I was thinking about that, and I was like, don't think about that, don't think about that. I can't think about that, because I started thinking about it, and I was just like,
Well, last question here. Why do you think Archer sees a machine gun over the house?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she might be trying to influence him to kill. I don't know. I don't know if she just wants to be evil.
I think he's just getting intuition to what is...
But what would that mean? We never see that gun in the movie.
No, but your mind, like, your dreams, like, subconscious, like, there's the symbolism that's used in there. So it's a literal, like, what he would think of as a weapon is a gun, but you don't think of people being controlled as weapons.
So you think it's him, like, piecing together?
Yeah, I think he's just, I think they're getting intuitive, like, flashes into things. So, but let us know what you think.
That's that, guys.
That's that.
Hope you enjoyed the movie, and if you, for some reason, hadn't seen it and sat through all of this just to see...
see it.
I hope you see it.
So that you know everything that we're talking about.
Ugh.
Yeah, go see it.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We never even did a spoiler discussion. I wish we would have done this last year, because we didn't do one on fucking Strange Darling.
Yeah.
Substance. We haven't done any spoiler discussions. I've never even done a spoiler discussion on Hereditary or Midsommar on this channel.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's that.
We'll see you in the comments. Adios.
Bye.